'Cause like a winter tonight, I thought I would always have light. The quick flash that you gave to me, so dark I could barely see. Looking
from wherever you are around the world, welcome and thank you for joining us. This is the Circle of Insight show, and I'm Dr. Carlos. Today we're going to be exploring, actually taking a personal look with Ozzie Aziz, actress, singer, and healer. So let's welcome Ozzie to the Circle. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on your show.
Now, you're a fascinating woman. So we're going to start off with, where are you from?
Where am I from? Okay, I'm first generation, born in London, England, but my parents originate from the island of Cyprus, the Turkish part of Cyprus.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What got them over to England?
My grandma decided to go over first, you know, and obviously my mum was a little girl, so like she went with her mum, and then my dad has known my mum since he was 9. Since she was 9, so basically like when he found out she left the island, he followed her to England, and then I happened.
Your mom since 9 years old?
Yeah, he was 16 and my mum was 9.
Oh,
yeah.
Fascinating. So, okay. So then he followed her over to England, and then they started dating sometime in the future, years later.
Well, what happened was he was studying in a university in Turkey, and he came back on one of his school vacations and knocked on my mum's door, and it was like all locked up and stuff, and the neighbors said the mum took them all and they've gone to London. So he actually left his education, flew to London in search of my mum. Yeah, it's a really cute story.
Yeah.
Found her, I happened, and then he went back without knowing, and
right.
to carry on his education, to complete it, and then he moved to London.
Are you the only happenings, or is there sisters and brothers?
No, I have 2 little brothers. I'm the
two
oldest.
more happenings, all right. Yeah. Excellent. You're the oldest then?
Yep, I'm the oldest and the only girl.
So now, how did you get started in this biz?
I've always known what I've wanted to do. I just knew. I was a little baby, and at 3 years old, I'm asking them to buy me a piano. And I was playing around with instruments, and I wanted to go to dance school, and I started getting involved in little plays at the age of 5. So everything, music before 5, but everything started really happening, and classes and stuff like that from the age of 5. So I always knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah, a long time. Did you start singing at the age of 5 too?
Yep, singing. I wrote my first song, which was used in a play at the age of 7. So yeah, I've always known what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Now, this is kind of interesting because we talked off camera, and you had some really intriguing stories. You've had a lot of exposure to the Middle East. So we're going to take a little trip around the world with Ozzie, and then we're going to learn a little bit more about what she feels the woman of today is. But before we get to that part, let's find out more about her adventures around the world. So let's take a first stop around Middle East. We talked about your latest movie. It came out, The Curse of Mesopotamia.
Yeah,
What was that about?
The Curse of Mesopotamia. It's a horror film, and we shot it in Iraq. That's actually my 3rd movie in Iraq.
The 3rd movie?
The 3rd movie. I was there twice in 2005. I played the lead in the first ever movie about women's rights. And I also did the soundtrack for it. And then while I was there, I shot another movie about the war going on called Revenge. So the first movie was called Bekal's Tears, and then the second, Revenge, and the one I just completed is called Curse of Mesopotamia, and it's coming out anytime in 2015.
I think there's a trailer already for it.
There is a trailer for it.
So we'll show you that trailer at the end of the show. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
So tell me, you almost actually had a horror story in the filming of Curse of Mesopotamia. What happened there? You want to repeat that story?
Yeah, everything in my life is like a story and an adventure. People are always saying, when are you writing a book? So, hopefully soon. While we were out there, the whole thing with ISIS was going on, and but we kept being told that everything was fine, it was away from us, but then it started getting closer and closer. And we were filming one night in a 7,000-year-old castle, citadel, and we started hearing guns and bombs going off. We were like, okay. So then we went to bed, and about an hour later, we got woken up, everyone freaking out, basically saying, it's hit the town we're at. We need to get you guys out now. And they found out that there was only one plane willing to come in and get us, and there were only 5 seats on this plane.
5. And how many people were there, you said?
There was quite a lot of us from all over the world. It's an international cast,
So
and there were more than 5 for sure.
Wow.
So they bought those tickets and they got the girls out first, and there was just one plane, and it was going to Munich. So we all ended up in Germany. You know, it was kind of, you know,
That's
a crazy
scary
experience, but an adventure.
That's an interesting, too, psychological view at it, because you had human behavior at its finest there. You had 20 people whose lives could have been really in danger, and they chose to send the women first.
Yeah.
And was there any hesitations in anybody? I mean, did anybody say, buzz off, I'm going with or without you, or nothing?
You know what? It was really funny, but the cast and crew actually wanted to stay in Iraq and carry on filming.
What?
Yes, it was crazy. People weren't rushing to get on that flight. They actually wanted to stay, and it was the director that was real adamant on us getting out of there.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you said the cast was from everywhere around the world. So is that normal for movies that were done down there in Iraq? So the other ones you did as well, or?
This director, you know, he's a Middle Eastern, but he grew up in Germany and has lived all over the world. His father's a politician. So he really wanted to use an international cast. So we had known actors, singers from Mexico, from the States, from all parts of Europe, from Tunisia, you know, all over the place.
Why did
that
you
he
like
flew
that?
in.
Do
He
we
just
know?
wanted a diverse, like mixed, you know,
Cast.
cast. He just thought it would make it a lot more interesting and a lot more appealing to the whole world.
That's interesting. Now, you have a release that came out too, I think. Which was the last song that you just came out with? Was it the Sheikh Allah or?
Oh, you're so funny, Sheikh Allah.
That's the one I saw with the
Sheikh
clip.
Allah. Okay, so, you know, as you know, I moved to America in the year 2000, sponsored by Bon Jovi Records. Legendary producer Tony Bon Jovi sponsored me.
Oh, wow.
So I moved out here and I toured the world as a singer-songwriter, and I had a hit in the charts in 2006. And then I kind of stopped my music. I got back into my acting. And then, you know, everything I do comes and goes in my life. You know, I'll stop music for a while and I'll do acting, and then somehow someone calls me up 2 years later, oh, can you write a song for us? So a couple of years ago, I wrote 2 songs for Turks. You know, they wanted some songs for me and we shot some videos. And last year, I was the only artist to have 2 top 10 hits with both those songs at the same time.
I saw that, that's right.
In Cyprus. One was called Come On Heidi, and the other one was Shake It Salad, the one you're talking about. At the same time, I wrote 4 songs for a Turkish DJ. He's a known DJ in Turkey called Hüseyin Karadayı, and he loved all 4 of them, and normally he only uses 1 song from each artist. He works with artists from around the world too, but I was the only artist, me and a producer called Symphony, to be featured on the album on 4 of his 4 songs on the album,
Wow.
Endorphin, which is sold all over Turkey. So that's what's going on with my music.
You're a busy girl.
Yeah. Actually, I also have a music film coming out in the next few months. It's called Other Walls to Fall. It's a film about music and how it, you know, how music is such an inspiration and an influence to everyone from around the world, how it connects us. And I represent the Middle East. It's got other celebrities in there, such as Busta Rhymes and Clint Black.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be coming out, so look out for that.
There you go. Now we're going to explore the mind of Ozzie a little bit. So how was it being a woman? We were talking a little bit off the show. You were saying it's really different than people think, the Middle East, and their perception of it.
Yeah.
So how is it being a woman in the Middle East, doing these things? I mean, I look at Iraq, and we look at ISIS and Sharia law and all this other stuff, and people think, there's no way you could have shot anything over there. So what's going on over there in your mind?
Like I said, I mean, I've been all over the Middle East, Iraq 3 times, and I didn't have to cover up. I wasn't out there with my burqa on, you know, with just my eyes showing. I mean, I could wear, as long as you're not walking around in mini skirts and, you know, real flashing everything off, you're fine. I mean, I could still wear skirts up to my knees and you know, a t-shirt. Like, what I'm wearing today would be fine. I mean, they're not
This wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't I wouldn't get beheaded. No, not for this.
How about the makeup and the hearing?
Oh, they actually wear more makeup than people out here. You know, I did some TV shows in the Middle East, and I got so glammed up. I thought I was on like Dynasty. You know, remember those days? Like, you know, when they had the big hair and the big eyes and stuff like that. They love it. They go all out. I mean, I did some TV interviews in Dubai, and I was like, oh my God, don't put that much makeup on me. I'm gonna look like a drag queen, you know? But they're really into that. So what people see or think about the Middle East is complete different. Obviously, there are some parts that you want to avoid. And when I was shooting my movie about women's rights in 2005, I had to be a little more, you know, we had private locations and stuff, but only because we were addressing you know, a big topic, women's rights. But the other movies I shot out there, no, we didn't really have any problems. The Middle East,
at all? Any part of the Middle East at all then, huh? Nothing?
No, a lot of people in the Middle East actually love to party, you know, which is so different than what we see, you know, on the news. The news really wants to focus on the few bad areas and the bad points, you know, and the extremists. But if you look at it, every religion has its extremists, and every area has its bad sections. So there's so many parts of the Middle East where it's so easygoing, mellow, and they're not that crazy as the news make it out to be. You know, it's beautiful actually.
So let's ask you this question. What does Ozzie think the woman of today is? How would you define the woman of today?
Well, the woman of today, I mean, the world really has changed, even in the industry. Back in the day, you know, when you were 30, you were past it in the industry. Now you're seeing women modeling in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and if you actually look at it right now, women in their 40s are more stunning and powerful than girls in their 20s. So it really has changed. I mean, look at the women out there: Madonna, Jennifer Lopez, you know, Jennifer Aniston, Halle Berry, Janet Jackson. Those women, they're just stunning, and they really are powerful, strong, beautiful women that have a lot of respect. So sexy has kind of changed. It's got older now, you know.
So the 40s the new 20?
40s is the new 20s. And women, I think, have got a lot more confident in themselves as well. You know, they believe in themselves more. They're taking on bigger roles, and it's really good to see that.
Hi, welcome to Delante. This is Delante Recovery, and my name is Yvette Kuglin, and I'm part of the staff.
Delante Recovery Center has helped people in dual diagnosis for 5 years. We accept most PPO insurances and provide luxury accommodations and 24-hour support. To speak with an admissions counselor, call 1-888-242-4450.
A lot of time we don't even know what's wrong with us, and sometimes we need to get away to figure that out. So if you want to go for a little retreat out in Corona del Mar, which is a confidential location, we're here to help. So we're only a phone call away. Thank you.
You have the unique advantage of having a lot of exposure with women all over the world. So do you see, I don't know how often you've gone to these different parts of the world, but do you see changes of the women there too? I mean, do you think they're more, I would say, stronger in Iraq than they were 10 or 15 years ago? Do they look stronger in Turkey or England? Has anything changed around there?
Some of those parts, you know, the women still, you know, are a little more hidden in the background than the men are. But I mean, Turkey, no, the women are so bossy over there. I feel sorry for the men. We need to do like a man's rights movie. So, you know, I mean, you got to think about it. Middle Eastern people or people from Turkey or Greece, they're very passionate. They have that hot-bloodedness about them.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not afraid to speak their minds. So it's so different than how the Westerners see those women. You know?
Yeah, it is. That's kind of the different look we have. So that's, I know other guests we've had talked a lot about Eastern European women. They see the traditional view.
Right.
The woman stays home. They're looking to get married by 22,
Right.
23. And it doesn't seem to have changed a whole lot from when I've talked to other women. Have you seen any changes of that?
In the marriage part?
Yeah, I guess in the role of a woman in certain parts of Europe. Doesn't seem to have changed a lot. Like America now, women are getting married at 27, 30.
Right.
It used to be 21, 22. But
Europe's like that too. But when you look at the Middle East and Turkey, no, they do get married younger there. You know, by the time they're 30, they've had all their kids and they get married much younger. It's just they're a little bit more family orientated over there, and so that's what it is really. You know, everyone's dream is to like grow up and get married and have kids. So they're more about family over there, which is a little lacking in the Western world, I think. You know, people really aren't about family anymore in these parts of the world.
That's a good point.
So that's actually a nice side in the Middle East. Not that I'm saying, you know, get married when you're 18, but it's just nice that they have respect for family. They have a different set of morals than what us Westerners do. And I call myself a Westerner too because I was born in London. I've lived in the States. So it's kind of nice. You see good points and bad points with both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, we're trying to look at psychology of motivation and success. You're obviously successful, done very well in your singing and acting career. Question is, how did you overcome any adversities? Is there anything you can remember in the past that just didn't go well? They said, Ozzie, no, you're not going to do this. You don't have the ability. I know one guest told us one time, which is a very common phrase, everybody tries to be a singer. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
How did you overcome those thoughts? I mean, what did you say? Did you say something to yourself in your head? You say, buzz off, or what did you say?
Well, when you have a passion for something and you've done it your whole life and you just love doing it, it doesn't matter what anyone says, really. You just have to really believe in yourself and just go for it. And the one thing with me about my personality that I'm so grateful for is if I'm ever terrified of something, if I'm ever real scared, I don't like fear. So I have to face it. I just don't like being scared of anything. So I just go head on with it. And I always kind of calm myself down by saying to myself, what's the worst that could happen? And I always say this to people too. Just stop for a minute and say to yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And if you can handle the worst, then go for it. It just like, for example, me coming to America, my family went nuts. I mean, there's me saying, I'm about to move to America by myself. You know, I had $150 in my wallet. And I had no family here, no friends here. I didn't know anyone here. And my mum and dad went crazy. You can't be doing this. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen? It sucks, and I'll get on a plane and I go right back. But if I don't ever go, I'm always going to regret it. I'm going to say, man, what would have happened if I had gone to the States? So the worst that can happen, I mean, at the point we're at right now in time, there are airplanes, there are so many ways of traveling and getting around. It's so easy. The world is so small. So
that's true.
So it's so easy to just get on a plane and go back home and just go back to your old life.
So I like that. So when you see something that's something that scares you, or you have fear, you face
challenging.
it. You take it on instead of running away from it or hiding from it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thank you.
So I think you just gave advice to the young women, but what kind of advice would you give the young women of today? If somebody came to you, an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, and said, look, Ozzie, I'm getting ready to find out what the world's all about, what would I do?
I just say always believe in yourself, and if it's something that you really love, just go for it. You're going to get turned down. That's the one big thing with entertainment. You just really have to be tough, and you're going to get turned down a lot. But it doesn't matter, that's their opinion. I spoke to a guy once that said the biggest mistake he did, he was in charge of a record label, was turning down Madonna. I mean, hello, he turned down one of the, biggest stars of all time, and that was his regret. And so don't take no for an answer. If she listened to him, she wouldn't be where she's at right now. And, just because someone said no, just keep going for it and just keep taking classes and perfecting your art.
I was getting ready to ask you about that.
Just keep doing that, travel, because to me, traveling is the best education you can give yourself. You learn, I have a degree, but for me, traveling has been my best education. So travel, see the world, don't listen to what other people are telling you, see it with with your own eyes and just take as many classes in your art and get as much experience as you can, and never give up. Never take no for an answer. Just keep at it, because if it's what you love, you're going to get it in the end.
That's fabulous stuff. Fabulous stuff. I think one thing too is, did you ever start taking notes of any of the criticism? So if somebody said, look, you're this, you're this, you're that, did you take notes and start working on those areas maybe too, or no?
You know, yes, I take notes if you are someone that has a background that's successful. I've had some people with absolute no success try and put me down, and I'll look at them and I'll say, well, you know what? Sorry, but that's just like going to the gym and an overweight, out of shape personal trainer telling me how to train. You know, I'll be like, well, check me out. I'm in better, condition than you. So why should I listen to you? So I kind of do the same with my work. I'll take all types of criticism and I'll try and change it and better myself. But if it's coming from someone with absolute no success, or I really don't trust what they're saying, then no. So you have to kind of like look at it in that way.
That's good advice. Good advice. Ozzie Aziz, thank you so much, Ozzie, for being here.
You're welcome.
This is awesome. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What we're going to do is, where can we get more information about you?
Okay, more information about me. Before I go, can I just quickly touch up on my next movie and my retreat? Okay, cool. So my next movie will be shot in a few months. It's called Blue Suede. I have one of the leads. It's an action film. So I play head of a mafia, so I get to kick some butt.
Head of the mafia.
I always get the crazy roles, or the those type of roles. So I'm really looking forward to that. Going to be doing my own stunts and some fight training. Yep.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And the other thing I've got alongside my entertainment is I'm also a healer. I do crystal healing, energy healing, natural medicine that was put on this planet. I've worked with patients with AIDS and cancer and tumors and all types of stuff, and around the world. And it's just been a passion of mine since I was a kid as well.
And you're opening a retreat center.
Yes, and on the island where my parents are from, we're looking at, hopefully it'll be opened in the year 2017. I'm opening a health and spiritual retreat on the island of Cyprus, where we'll hold maybe 6 or 7 retreats a year for people around the world to come to. And I have some amazing teachers coming to work with me to heal people or to teach them about healing,
That's fantastic stuff.
Yes, so that's something I really wanted to put out there for you guys to look out for.
You got a busy schedule coming up.
Yes, I love to stay busy. If I don't, I drive myself nuts. But anyway, the way you can find out more about me, I have a website, ozzieaziz.com. I'm also all over social media. In fact, you find out more about me on Facebook and Twitter and my Instagram. And it's just basically just search Ozzie Aziz.
That's A-Z-I-Z?
A-Z-I-Z, and my first name O-Z-Z-I-E, so it's all the Z's in my name. Yeah, just Ozzie Aziz, and you can search me, and I'm all over the net, and yeah, just keep up with what I'm doing, I'm doing some fun stuff and good positive stuff.
You really are. That's fabulous stuff. We are going to keep up with you. Thank you so much again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Remember, our motto is simple. Wherever there's psychology involved, we're going to be there. So I hope you enjoyed this interview with the wonderful, fabulous, talented, beautiful Ozzie Aziz. See you next time.